Alright guys, Jake here. I told you I'd be canning some stuff up for you, so what I've decided to can up is some cheesy bacon potato soup. So basically I'm going to use about a pound of bacon, 6 or 8 potatoes, just kind of depends on how much you're going to can up and how big your pots are. I've got 3 6-ounce cheddar cheeses here. You're going to need some milk, salt and pepper, however you like to spice things up. So I want to get these potatoes peeled, get my bacon cooked up, get these potatoes cooked up and boiled. That's all you need to do, basically like you're making mashed potatoes. So let me get all that going and I'll be back, guys. Okay guys, I have washed and cut up my potatoes. Obviously, like I said, just like mashed potatoes, so just rinse them real well, cut them all up. We've got the bacon going over here. I like my bacon crispy. Basically, we're going to turn this into bacon bits. Got the water going here to cook the potatoes. So once the potatoes get good and done, we'll be back. Alright guys, I got the potatoes done here. What I'm going to do, also got the bacon ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the water off of those potatoes. And really I just want about the water down to about potato level in the pan. Sorry, I don't have any measurements here. I don't cook with measurements. It's just kind of how I cook. About potato level on the water. Now we're going to add milk. I would say about the same amount of milk as you have water. And while that's heating up, I'm going to chop up the bacon into small pieces. Smaller the better. Bacon bit size. Okay everybody, got the milk, potatoes and water warm hot on the oven here. I've got the bacon and I've got the cheese. According to this, it's going to be about 3, 5, 7, 9 cups of shredded sharp cheddar that I'm going to put in there. And all this is going to be according to how many potatoes, how big of a pot, how big of a load you're cooking. But I like mine very potatoey, very cheesy, and very bacony. You get all your cheese in there, you get your bacon bits in there. You can see how it's finely chopped. I mean, there's some decent sized chunks in there. Got here. I'll just let that simmer cook for about 30-45 minutes and it'll be good to go. It'll thicken up a little bit as it cooks down, We're going to eat a little bit of this for dinner, and the rest of it I'm going to put in the jars and can up. So I'll be back with you when I start jarring this up. Okay guys, here's the soup. Kind of show you the consistency that I've come up with here. I've got the canner ready and going here, warming up. I've got jars in the oven over there heating up. You do want to preheat your jars since you're putting hot fluid, hot material in the jars. So let's see if I can get you set up here. Okay, so I got my spout here, and we're going to get some jars, fill them up, and put the lids on them. I heat these jars probably to about 230. My soup has been simmering over here for probably 30-45 minutes. Still nice and hot. Be sure and get down in the bottom and get some of the good chunky stuff. And just fill up your jars. Be sure and wipe the rim of the jar clean. That's very, very important. You can see that, but I leave about a good inch from the bottom of the jar because this is going to bubble in there and you do not want it to get up on the seal. The lids are preheated as well. On the top. Hand tight, you don't have to go too tight. Clean off my mess on the jar and straight into the canner. Another jar. Do this one without making quite such a mess. Be sure and get some of the good chunky stuff down at the bottom. When you're simmering your soup, don't simmer it too high. You don't want to burn the potatoes on the bottom. Clean off your rim. Not extremely tight on the lids, guys, just hand tight. Always remember to leave this inch here. You do not want product getting up on that lid. And tight. Hey guys, I've got just enough in there to make probably a good bowl for lunch tomorrow. It's not enough to fill another jar, another quart. So I'm just going to keep that, put it in the refrigerator, and eat it tomorrow. But we did get 4 good quarts. So going to get the pressure canner going here, and I'll keep you apprised of the setup of this thing. Water's warm in the canner, product is warm in the jar, so there shouldn't be too much preheat time required. Okay guys, heat's on, weight's off. Don't run your fire up too much. So go ahead and turn it up a little to get the pot hot, to get it steaming. Alright, 10-15 minutes, we'll be back. Okay guys, I can hear it boiling inside of the pot here, so I've turned down the fire a little bit. We're just going to let it sit there and boil for about 10 minutes. And hopefully we'll build up enough pressure in there to get this relief valve up. So 10 minutes at a boil. Bring everything up to temp. Okay guys, the pressure valve has just raised on the canner. So again, we're going to wait about 10 minutes here and let it preheat up, and then we're going to drop our weight on. So about 5 to 10 minutes, let it heat up some more. Once that pressure valve raises, you can cut your fire down a little bit, but keep enough fire on it that that weight stays raised. Okay, you do not want to drop the pressure in the canner far enough that that weight drops right there. Turn the fire down just a little bit. Okay guys, it's been about 10 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and drop our weight on. It will be hot, so be careful and don't get your fingers in the way. So we're going to wait for the pressure to start rising here on our gauge. My particular area and sea level, I want about 11 psi inside of my pressure cooker. So once it starts climbing and getting up there close to 11, you need to start backing off on your fire. You do not want to overshoot your pressure mark. And it's all going to depend on your sea level, what you need to cook at, but most are 11, 12, 13 psi, maybe up to 15 depending on where you are. I'm going to watch my pressure rise here, and as it starts getting close to the 11 psi, I will start backing off on the fire. So I'll be back when it starts raising. Alright everybody, we're getting up to 8 or 9 pounds on our gauge here. So I want to back the fire off a little bit. I don't want to be losing any pressure on my gauge. Just back the fire off a little bit, so we got a very slow climb to that 11 psi. You start to notice your gauge going down, add a little more heat. Everything on this cooker is controlled by that heat. Too much pressure, turn the heat down. Not enough pressure, turn the heat up. As you get closer to your required pressure, control it in very small increments. See, we're up to about 10 pounds already, so you know, you want to be within, you definitely want to be at the required, which is 11 psi here. 11 and a half, 12 isn't so bad, but you really want to stay as close to possible as you can and not below that pressure. And whatever you do, don't let the pressure drop in the canner below, say 10, 9 psi, really 10. If so, you got to start all over. So keep your eyeballs on this thing. This is when it's most dangerous, is when it's under pressure. So do not leave it under any circumstance. Pay attention to what's going on with it and check it very frequently, every 5 minutes. Stay in the room with it. Be very careful. Okay guys, as you can see there, we have made it to the 11 psi. That's the critical mark. Now we want to hold this pressure for 90 minutes. That's an hour and a half. 11 psi, 11 and a half, 90 minutes. I'll be back when we get there. Thanks guys. Okay guys, the timer just went off 90 minutes, so just basically turn off the fire and let the pressure cooker cool off. Let all of the pressure come off of your gauge, as well as the safety valve drop, and maybe 20 minutes after your safety valve drops, you can remove your weight. But make sure all of the pressure is out of the canner before you remove that weight. Alright, I'll be back when I pull the jars out. Thanks, guys. Here, guys, the pressure valve is off. 0 psi on the gauge, so we're going to go ahead and remove our weight. Be careful, there may be some steam that still comes out of that. Now we're going to let it cool about 10 more minutes, and then we're going to take the lid off. Alright guys, it's been a little time, it's cooled off, so I'm going to take the lid off. That's the jars in there. I will pull them out momentarily and make sure we get a good seal.